We've all been there, haven't we? That frantic search online for essential academic stuff. You need a digital textbook, maybe a specific educational PDF, and then bam, you spot it. A version that's practically a steal, often priced in that, really tempting $30 to $38 range. It looks like a student's dream come true, right? A shortcut to saving cash. And honestly, who wouldn't be drawn in? So today we're pulling back the curtain on one particular site, Levisbook.com. It presents itself as an online store, selling digital textbooks, PDFs. Seems strong in areas like engineering, economics, science, stuff like that. But here's the real question for our deep dive today. Is Levisbook.com legit? Is it the gold mine, it looks like? Or is it potentially, a trap waiting for learners like you? We've been digging through the sources, following the trails, trying to piece it all together. Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's get right into it. We're basically going on an investigative journey, you and us, looking at the little details of things that made us go, Because when you're dealing with online platforms, especially the ones selling digital things and asking for your money,
well, you need to be careful. A little scrutiny goes a long, long way. This isn't just about finding problems. It's about understanding why certain things matter, what they tell us about being safer online. And the very first thing that jumped out at us, the first piece of this puzzle, was its age. Levisbook.com. It's only registered in October 2024. Now just think about that. We're recording this in August 2025, so this website hasn't even been running for a full year yet. For any business trying to build trust, especially one taking payments for digital stuff, being this new, that immediately sets off a little warning bell, a red flag. It's really the new kid on the block, digitally speaking.
Right. And what's fascinating here, or maybe worrying, is that this newness, it isn't always just innocent. Sometimes it can actually be a deliberate strategy. I mean, think about it. Lots of shady sites, or even outright scams, they have really short lifespans. They pop up, maybe operate for a few months, grab some cash, and then before too many bad reviews pile up, before they get widely reported, poof, they vanish. And often they just reappear under a slightly different name.
So it's not just that they haven't had time to build trust.
Exactly. It might be that they're designed not to need long-term trust. A quick check on a WHOAS lookup tool, which, by the way, anyone can use, makes this registration date obvious. That should probably be, the first check anyone makes.
That's a really crucial point, strategic newness, not just being the new guy. Okay, so if they're this new and presumably trying to get customers, you'd think they'd be shouting about it somewhere, wouldn't you? Where's the marketing? Where's the buzz? Because when we went looking for Levisbook.com on the usual online spots, well, we basically found a ghost town. Which brings us neatly to our second big observation, a complete lack of any social media presence. We checked the big ones, Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and there's just nothing, zilch.
Yeah, nothing. And that's pretty telling, isn't it? In today's world, a legitimate business, especially one that's been live for months and targeting, say, students, they almost certainly be on social media. It's just expected. It's how businesses talk to customers, announce things, handle basic questions, build a brand, a community.
Engagement.
Exactly. Engagement. And the total silence here, it's more than just weird. It kind of removes a whole layer of public accountability. If you have an issue, where do you go? There's no public wall to post on, no community to ask, no visible track record of how they interact with people.
It's like opening a store in a busy mall, but I don't know, boarding up all the windows. Why wouldn't you want people to see and or talk to you? It also makes it harder to do things like, say, a reverse image search on their logo to see if it's been used elsewhere, under other names, maybe?
Boarded up windows. Yeah, that's a good analogy. It feels closed off. And if that lack of public engagement makes you wonder about getting help if something goes wrong, well, our next finding isn't going to make you feel any better. It's what we started calling the email-only echo chamber. Levisbook.com provides only one way to contact them for customer support, an email address. That's literally it.
Just email.
Just email. No phone number to actually talk to a person, no live chat for quick help, nothing instant. So imagine this. You've got a deadline looming, you paid for your digital textbook, and the download fails, or the file's corrupted, something goes wrong. You shoot off an email, and then you just wait and wait. The potential for frustration there is, well, huge. Oh, absolutely. And this kind of limited support, it really speaks volumes, either about how much they value sorting out customer problems quickly, or maybe just their ability or willingness to even handle them. Think about it this way. If you ordered, say, a takeaway online, and the only way to query a wrong order was to send a letter,
you wouldn't bother, or you'd be furious.
Exactly. You wouldn't trust that service, especially if you were hungry now. And for students, needing a textbook quickly for an assignment or exam, That can feel just as urgent. Good, legitimate businesses know that accessible, responsive support is absolutely critical. It builds loyalty, fixes problems before they escalate, especially with digital stuff where tech glitches happen. A single email address often suggests they want to keep customers at a distance. Or maybe they just don't have the setup to handle questions in real time. Either way, it's not great for the customer.
It definitely feels like a very one-way street, doesn't it? You send your money out, cross your fingers, and hope everything works. And that ties straight into our next finding, which really felt like another layer peeling back. We called this one the anonymous operator.
Yeah.
There is absolutely zero transparency about who is actually running Levisbook.com. No names mentioned anywhere. No About Us page talking about the team or the company mission. Not even a basic company address, physical or otherwise. It's just this website floating out there with no visible human connection behind it.
And that lack of transparency, that's a major concern, a really big one. Knowing who you're actually doing business with is pretty fundamental, right, for accountability, for consumer protection. When a business, especially one selling things online, operates completely anonymously, no owners listed, no location, no real contact info beyond that single email, it just raises so many red flags about what their intentions might be.
Yeah, definitely.
Trustworthy businesses usually do the opposite. They often want you to know who they are. They'll highlight their team, their story, their values, because they stand behind what they're doing. Anonymity like this makes it incredibly hard, maybe impossible, to seek any kind of recourse if things go badly. You can't even really figure out if they're operating legitimately. It's a classic sign, unfortunately, of operations that aren't built for transparency or long-term customer relationships. They often prioritize being hard to pin down.
That's a really strong point about accountability. If you don't even know who they are,
Mm-hmm.
how can you trust what they're doing? Which leads us perfectly into maybe the loudest silence we found in this whole investigation. We've dubbed this the silent crowd. We looked really thoroughly, not just scanning their own site, obviously, but we checked major review platforms like Trustpilot, where people leave verified reviews. We even scoured places like Reddit, which usually has threads about everything, good or bad user experiences. And guess what we found?
Let me guess. Nothing.
Exactly. Zero. Nada. Not one single user experience shared. No reviews, no ratings, no forum posts, no one talking about buying from Levisbook.com anywhere. It's almost like it exists in a total vacuum.
Wow. Okay, that complete absence of reviews is, well, it's really telling. And the sources we looked at suggest a few ways to interpret that silence. None of them are particularly reassuring. First, okay, maybe it's just too new. Possible, but even new sites usually get some chatter somewhere if people are actually using them.
Right. You expect at least someone to mention it.
Exactly. Then there's the more worrying possibility. People have used it, had bad experiences, but for whatever reason, they aren't sharing those experiences. Maybe they feel embarrassed, maybe they think it's pointless, or maybe, and this is a tactic some shady sites use, they're actively suppressing negative feedback somehow, or just operating in a way that minimizes any opportunity for public feedback to arise. Like maybe the transactions are designed to be forgettable or hard to trace back.
Avoiding feedback situations altogether.
Could be. Legitimate businesses usually want reviews. Even critical ones help them improve and build credibility. This total void, it strongly suggests either a massive lack of actual customers engaging or potentially an intentional strategy to just avoid any kind of public record, good or bad. Social proof, seeing others use and rate something, is a huge part of online trust. And when it's completely missing, that's a pretty big hole in their credibility.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. What does this picture look like now? We've got Levisbook.com. It's incredibly new, less than a year old. It operates like a ghost on social media, no presence at all. Customer support is minimal, just a single email address implying potential delays and frustration. There's zero transparency about who is actually running the show, total anonymity. And maybe most striking, there are absolutely no user reviews or public mentions anywhere online. So it's not just one or two little things. It's a whole pattern. It rings quite a few alarm bells, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. You've summarized it perfectly. Each of those points taken alone might just make you pause and be a bit cautious. But when you stack them all up like that, they paint a really consistent picture. And that picture strongly calls for extreme scrutiny, extreme caution. It really highlights how vital it is to be a skeptical, informed consumer when you're shopping online.
Definitely.
These combined signs just don't add up to the kind of trust and reassurance you should really expect, especially when you're talking about spending money on important things like academic resources.
So with all of this in mind, Based on everything we've uncovered, our strongest advice to you, the listener, would be to exercise extreme caution. Be very, very careful before you think about buying anything from Levisbook.com. As the sources wisely point out, it's always better to be careful than sorry. Especially with digital purchases, where getting refunds or sorting out problems can sometimes be a real nightmare.
Indeed. Absolutely. And this whole deep dive into levisbook.com, it's a great case study, really. It serves as a powerful reminder about the broader need for due diligence in this digital age we live in. It reminds us that every time we interact online, every click, every potential purchase, it needs a thoughtful, maybe even slightly investigative approach.
Question things.
Yes, always question, always look for verification, always try to find that social proof or lack thereof, and ultimately always prioritize your own security and your peace of mind, even over a deal that looks incredibly tempting on the surface.
Well said. And that brings us to a final thought for you to maybe mull over after this discussion. Given how many subtle cues and some not-so-subtle warning signs we managed to uncover today just by looking closely at this one website, makes you wonder, doesn't it? What hidden signals might you be overlooking in your own daily online interactions? Not just when you're buying things, but maybe with information you consume or platforms you engage with. How can you sharpen your own skills, become your own best detective in this huge, complex digital world? How can you apply this kind of critical thinking more broadly? We really hope this deep dive has given you some useful tools and maybe a fresh perspective to help you do just that. Until next time, stay curious, ask questions, and stay safe out there.